How's it going? Welcome to the Pure Pazaak podcast. I'm the Vulcanator. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different Star Wars subjects, TV shows, obviously going over the Bad Batch, going over lightsabers, both in lore and probably out of lore as well, and then a couple other fun topics and Q&A stuff sprinkled in. So, yeah, you can follow me at twitch.tv/thevulcanator, and you're either watching me on Twitch or YouTube right now. So you can subscribe on YouTube to the Vulcanator, or you can follow on Twitch. But not both. Don't do both.
Hey guys, UncleVatred TV. Happy to be here once again. You guys can find me on Twitch at UncleVatred_TV. And you can also find me on Twitter, I believe, at UVatred. And if you're watching on YouTube, that'll be listed down in the link below.
And I am Thor110 of Expanded Galaxy, the project for Knights of the Old Republic. You can find me at Thor110 on Twitch or Expanded Galaxy on YouTube, which I think the actual channel name is my real name. But I'm sure if you Google Expanded Galaxy, you can come across.
No, it's Expanded Galaxy.
Posts. I think the slash might be different. I'll check.
I don't know. Last time I saw it, it was just Expanded Galaxy, but yeah. So without any further ado, guys, finally, Bad Batch episodes 6 and 7 have come out since we talked about it last. I've got a couple things about it that I don't know. So what did you guys think? Let's just start with episode 6, I guess. They're both out now, but let's just start with episode 6. What do you guys, like, what were your impressions when you first watched episode 6, before watching episode 7 and stuff?
Well, with episode 6, through most of the first part, it felt like much of the same we saw in the previous 2 episodes. But I will admit, the Martaz sisters are not really liked among the fan base, and there was a lot of polarity around them making another appearance. I didn't really mind it all that much. Now, before we get the context of episode 7, at the end of 6, I was almost left thinking a little differently from where it ultimately ended up going. I thought originally, like, she was going to sell them out to somebody like the Empire or whatever. But, of course, a few days later, oh, well, that's R7. That's Rex's droid. And I'm like, well, I don't pay attention to, like, every single tiny astromech droid that's rolling around if it's not, like, R2-D2. So,
see, people said it was Ahsoka's droid. People,
yeah.
I kept hearing it was going to be Ahsoka, which, I've already talked about at length how I fucking hate that Ahsoka gets shoehorned into everything Dave Filoni touches.
Exactly.
So I was ready to see it. I was ready for it to be Ahsoka, but I'm glad it wasn't. I don't incredibly dislike Ahsoka as a character. I just think she's a little overutilized.
For sure.
For me, it was sort of what I expected. I was expecting member berries and clankers. I mean, I was sort of expecting it not so soon, but because I was expecting it not so soon, I was expecting it soon.
So my thing was I don't mind the Martez sisters as characters. I really don't. I didn't dislike them in Clone Wars. I don't really dislike them in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
But my problem was just the fact that it's starting to look like, and episode 7 had this too, but episode 7 kind of gets a pass because of how plot heavy it was. But it's the same sort of pattern we've been noticing with most of the Bad Batch episodes, is that the Bad Batch is, they meet some Clone Wars character or characters, right? It's always everything's a cameo. Whether it's, I mean, I guess not specifically Clone Wars, but there's a cameo all the time. They're never introducing new characters. It's just, be it Bib Fortuna, be it the fucking slavers from Clone Wars, be it the Martez sisters, or be it Fennec Shand, there's just, or Tarkin,
the rogue clone from Clone Wars,
right?
That took him in for a little bit,
and Kanan,
even Kanan.
there's 7
weird
episodes.
Freddie Prinze Jr. full ass adult sounding
Yeah.
Kanan when he's like 12 or 13.
Well, there's 7 episodes and what, like fucking 10 cameos already? It's like, goddamn, dude. Like, I do like the Bad Batch. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the show a lot. I think it's probably, apart from maybe the Mandalorian, it probably has the most solid start out of any of the Star Wars TV shows.
Oh, for sure.
With the exception being the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian's start. I think the beginning of the Mandalorian is probably the best part of the Mandalorian in my opinion. So, just kind of when he's running jobs and stuff, but yeah, like it's just kind of like it's gonna get tiring. It was tiring in episode 6. Episode 7, even though it was obviously, I mean, it was Captain Rex, right? But it wasn't as tiring because it was actually important.
Hopefully they give that a rest after the first season. That's what I might be expecting with the cameos, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Otherwise, they will know, just as you're thinking, there's been too many.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's even, like, more of them are popping into my head. There's fucking Saw Gerrera. We didn't even mention him. Like, there's all
cameos we're forgetting about.
Right. They're everywhere.
And technically, the Jedi healer lady from Clone Wars, even though we just see a lightsaber and a hand under a tarp.
Yeah. Is it confirmed that it's her?
I mean, I would say it has to be, because the lightsaber hilt looked like the ones that were on her character model in that Clone Wars episode with Yoda.
With sick Yoda, yeah. I mean, yeah, she was probably the most likely to be it. I just didn't know if it was, like, actually confirmed or not, but... So, yeah, like, again, I don't really dislike episode 6. I probably disliked episode 5 more.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always cool to see, like, you know, I liked seeing what they made, you know, the decommissioning facility. It's cool to see that sort of thing, but it was one of those things where it was like it was all a cameo, essentially, clankers.
Right. Oh, yeah, even the droids were technically cameos, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The droids and their dumb, like, high-pitched comic relief voices, which
and how even that
don't
was
like.
kind of reused from Rebels, from where Ezra and them reprogrammed the droids to fight the Empire or whatever when they were at the clone base or whatnot.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know, like, I've seen, like, a lot of people share this opinion. I've seen, like, just watching Star Wars YouTube and going through message boards and stuff. It's just like, I don't know why they feel the need to just keep recycling the same, like, 30 or 40 characters. Because, like, this is a galaxy of trillions of people. Why are we seeing the Martez sisters pop up randomly? You know, why are we seeing Saw Gerrera pop up randomly?
It does get a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of all of the millions of all of the thousands of planets, hundreds or thousands of planets out there, you send them to Onderon to capture Saw Gerrera.
Well, I mean, what I would do in their situation is retreat to, like, an unknown world. They're 4 against the Empire. I mean, it's a joke. You wouldn't start taking them on straight away. You wouldn't start making yourself known, getting seen, fighting things,
doing bounties,
breaking into a clanker decommissioning facility or a droid decommissioning facility, and getting seen by countless police droids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was like, I mean, it seems like the I don't remember her name, but the Trandoshan lady who keeps giving them the jobs. It seems like she's kind of just making them do jobs, almost like
using them. I think
almost like it's like almost blackmail, because she's like, oh, like,
yeah. She's taking a pretty hefty cut too.
Yeah.
Well,
what they make.
in a sense,
it's like 5 of them.
Right.
Wouldn't her life also be on the line, essentially?
Well, yeah, and I think that's her justification for using this, you know, incredibly elite squad of super soldiers, basically.
Definitely.
to do her jobs, but like, yeah. So I mean, like, I see the reasoning why the Bad Batch is doing what they're doing. That's not my problem. My problem is that, like, whenever they do something, they meet someone from the Clone Wars, or they meet someone we already know that, like, is just there sometimes. Like, Like with the Martez
Right.
sisters. Like, I know they did that to introduce Rex, but it really wasn't necessary to do that. I feel like Rex
yeah,
could
I
have
feel
just
like-
Hang on,
turned
one way to think about this. I mean, admittedly, it doesn't negate it so much, but we know more characters in the Star Wars universe than there might be planets. In fact, we do. So perhaps it's not so. I mean, statistically, the way I'm thinking about that is they're almost bound to pop up. Or at least someone is bound to pop up.
Someone,
I don't
sure,
know.
but not like a different character, not like the same
I know
characters
exactly
every
what you're
time.
saying.
Right, but yeah, I feel like it could have been done better because even with the Martez,
Though at the same time, that person
kind
could
of,
be on the other end of the planet.
it was kind of weird they're working for like rebellion cells now because they met Ahsoka once and now
Yeah.
all the Jedi are actually really good. We shouldn't have blamed them for losing our home. We should help fight the Empire now. Like, I just don't think opinions just change off of that small encounters. That's why I kind of think it would have made more sense if they would have just directly given the Bad Batch up to the Empire.
And it's just like the sheer silly coincidences of that, too. Like, the Martez sisters just happen to be going after the same droid head that the Bad Batch is going after for completely different employers. Like, just there's other people that could be doing it. There's other planets they could be going to. There's other, like, it's just such a crazy coincidence. And like, normally that wouldn't be a problem. You know, cameos aren't a bad thing. It's just when you do them all the time, that's when they get just tiring. It's just like, oh, who they gonna shoehorn in now? Whose models?
It is essentially every episode. I think.
Whose
there is-
models?
Has there
Oh,
been
it
an
is.
episode without?
It
Yeah,
absolutely
it
is. Yeah.
I suppose we're only 7 episodes in, so maybe it can be forgiven. We'll see. I suppose we'll have to see how many more there is. If there's one in every episode, do we know how long the series is? Yeah,
It's like
10
16
episodes.
It's
16.
16 episodes for the
Okay.
first season. And
So
I
we've
think-
got another 9. So if we count another 9 cameos, that's going to be too much.
Well, there's already multiple cameos per episode too.
Yeah, that's true. But
Like-
if we consider it, if we consider multiple still as one generalized per episode, like just consider all of the first 7 a cameo episode, and then if it makes all 16, that's going to be a bit much.
Oh yeah, totally. I think it already is a bit much, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Again,
do- I
like
do
hopefully as time progresses, and like, you know, like Clone Wars characters get killed off and stuff. not to
Like,
be
it's
not
bound
to be
happen
dark.
at some point.
Not to be dark, but you know, it is the Empire we're talking about, so like, yeah, I think you're right. Hopefully the cameos will kind of slow down a little bit, but it's just, it feels like it feels like cheap fan service when it's just cameos all over the place constantly, you know?
That is definitely how it has felt. Fan service.
Yeah. Which
I can
like,
definitely see that.
which Disney Star Wars has done a lot of fan service. Like it has. I would argue some of the Mandalorian episodes were fan servicey.
Right.
And fan service isn't in itself a bad thing, but like some of it did feel like pretty blatant. Just like we don't
And
have
in a way,
we don't have an idea. Let's just throw
I think,
a character in.
Oh yeah, sorry. But I think a lot of the online discourses really led to like the recent change with a lot of fan service because at least early on in the Disney canon, they were introducing new characters that were mostly ended up being hated, or why is this person here, and I need an explanation for why they belong in the story. So
Yeah.
with a bunch of fans who necessarily act like they need everything to be spoon-fed to them, they're just going to keep giving them characters they're familiar with.
This could also be down to personal bias on the part of the writer, like wanting to write these characters in, and that's quite likely.
Just look at Ashoka and Maul.
Right.
There is no reason, like there was almost no reason to put Maul into Solo, for example. I mean, I don't know how much effect, I don't know how much pull Dave Filoni had over Solo, but yeah, Maul in Solo, Maul in Rebels, Ashoka in Rebels, Ashoka in Mandalorian. Like, yeah, just imagine, like, I'm not putting it too out of the realm of possibility for like them to be like the Bad Batch to be off on some mission and then Maul just crashes through a wall or something and is after the same objective of them and they have to like fucking fight with Maul to get to the objective. You know, or something like that. Something along those lines.
See, yeah.
Or
I can see that.
Or Rex goes, oh, here's someone who can help you. Her name's Ahsoka Tano, you know, like that kind of thing. She's a Jedi.
That's bound to happen. That's almost guaranteed to happen just because Rex is there already now.
Right. We'll see, because Filoni is the type that likes to retcon a lot of things, but a lot of people are saying Ahsoka should not show up during this period because the whole, like, Ahsoka novel said she was in hiding during, like, this entire time.
Yeah, well, they've already retconned.
Right after Order 66.
They already
but they've already
stuff.
retconned some
Yeah.
things.
Like this very show is
Kanan
retcon
comic.
stuff. Yeah. But,
So, I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility, because Filoni retconned an awful lot of things, because even with original TCW, it completely retconned a lot of the Republic comics, and you know, how many times did Adi Gallia die or whatever?
And the 03 Clone Wars and yeah, the games and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I mean, well, that's just an overall trend with the new canon. Like, it's just it's retcons and also just kind of shameless adaptations from EU works instead of just canonizing them. I mean, we talked about this before. This is a thing I talk about a lot on my streams, but it's just kind of like, you know, yeah, just again, yeah, shameless adaptations of Republic Commando, for example, or a well done one, but still an adaptation of an EU thing was season 1 episode, or season 2 episode 1 of The Mandalorian, which is just the fucking Tatooine the Tatooine story of KOTOR 1. Like,
oh yeah,
team up with the Sand People. Have them lead you to the Crate Dragon and kill the Crate Dragon by blowing it up from the bottom. It's the same thing.
yeah. I saw that right away too. I'm thinking, oh, it's a Crate Dragon. They're going to do the old Comad Fortuna strategy.
And they did. They blew it up from the bottom. I mean, they added like their own twist to it stuff. Like I said, that adaptation was actually done pretty well. It felt more like a tribute than anything. But I wanted to use an example of like a bad adaptation and a good adaptation, but it's very common, and like, while callbacks and Easter eggs and cameos and stuff, like those are all good. If you use it too much, it just becomes fan service, and it's starting to get stale. It's just like, I want to see a living, breathing galaxy. I want to see a believable galaxy that is vast and has trillions of people
like
in
a
it.
planet or moon of people we've never seen before.
Right. Or even like I loved in Mandalorian when they had that moon with like, that was like just a fishing colony, and it was just a bunch of Mon Calamari and Quarren walking around like in fish.
That was cool.
In
yeah,
fishing,
I
like
liked that.
in fishing overalls and shit. Like, it's pretty cool. You know, like that's just it's just really just down to earth, just gritty life on an ocean world in Star Wars. You know? Granted, that was also the episode where they put Bo-Katan in to Mandalorian, but you know, I just love seeing that. I love seeing like just
I
new
definitely
unique
wanted
worlds.
to see more of that world.
Like new unique worlds that just that stand on their own weight. Like, it's not just like, oh, this is the exact same place from Clone Wars that we saw in 3 different episodes and interacted with the exact same characters that we're interacting with now. But yeah. Well, any other thoughts on episode 6?
Yeah, not really. The only other tidbit really to add is, I guess, we kind of predicted this a couple episodes in the podcast ago, but Wrecker finally had a little bit of his, good soldiers follow orders moment.
Right, well, we're going to get to that. Yeah.
We all knew how soon that was
gets
coming.
further fleshed out in the next episode.
I do think...
Oh, right, yeah, because he did say it in episode 6.
Yeah,
I
thought it was going to last more than an episode.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna halfway during the episode. Well, I guess we'll segue into episode 7 now. Which, yes, I mean, obviously, the 2 big reveals, right? Wrecker's inhibitor chip did kick in, which the timing on Wrecker's inhibitor chip kicking in was so hilariously flawless. By the way, Like, he's
Right.
literally, like, going into the fucking, like, CAT scanner or whatever. And then it turns on. Like,
Though
could it have triggered any...
Isn't it actually programmed to, like, pay attention to the thoughts and prevent tampering or something? I can't remember the details now, but there are some details about it mentioned somewhere in the episode of the Clone Wars where they remove it. I might have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is when like
don't
Fives removed his own. I don't think there was like anything where like his chip tried to stop himself from doing it because he like completely reprogrammed the droid on Kamino to do the operation.
Wasn't his faulty though?
No, that was Tups. The
Oh,
other clone
sorry,
that
yeah.
one activated and shot the.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah, no,
activated-
true.
it
That's a
activated
good
early.
point.
He was
Yeah.
the one that the Kaminoans just wanted to dispose like garbage so they could cut him open and dissect like the chip.
They're like, ah, shit, they're onto us. They're onto us now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anything like that. It would make sense, but yeah, I personally don't remember anything like that being mentioned. But, I don't know. My memory's not the best, so it totally could have.
There's still the matter of what do we think? I can't even remember her name now. Why can I not remember her name?
Omega?
Omega. There, that's the one.
Omega?
What do you think her purpose is? As like why she was cloned?
And I'll add a little bit more to this because when I was looking around at different Star Wars stuff, there was some questions surrounding whether Omega had an inhibitor chip or not. Because at least in one of the episode guides that was on StarWars.com, the synopsis mentions specifically that Omega claims she does not have an inhibitor chip, but doesn't outright state that she doesn't. And in the whole Fives arc, when he was going into like when the inhibitor chips were put in, he looked at like the earliest stages of clone embryos and, you know, like they didn't have it, but the next stage after that did. So it's completely plausible that Omega could have an inhibitor chip.
I don't see the point though. I mean, surely she's not part of the same. She can't be part of the same. Like the reason for cloning. She's got to be like a a project for another client or something,
I mean,
right?
I don't know if you two are Firefly fans, but it might be like a River Tam situation where she's just like some
I've been
sleeper
saving
weapon.
I've not seen it.
love Firefly.
I've been saving it. I will watch it one day.
That's like top 5 series of all
I'm
time.
not looking forward to watching it and then finishing it because apparently it's that good.
Yeah, I was so disappointed.
Oh yeah, it's so fat. Yeah,
When-
it's the
Because
best
Spock,
thing in the
like,
world while you're
picked
watching
the
it, and then it
ball
just
and
it's
never took off when it originally.
It's only
aired.
one season, right?
dude. The Reavers are so scary in Firefly. They're like they're one of the fucking scariest like sci-fi things I've ever seen. Just the whole concept of them is just like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Omega.
Like what her purpose.
So what do
is.
you think? Yeah, what do you think her purpose
And whether
is?
or not she had the chip.
I suspect she's a project for another client. Because it doesn't make sense for them to randomly.
I don't know if
I
it's
don't know.
for another
Either
client.
that, or it could be for themselves. Maybe they actually
I think
did
it's for-
adjust the
I
DNA.
think it's for themselves. I think they.
It definitely seemed like it could have been for themselves at first because they were training, like they were teaching her.
Well, so something in the old EU was that Jango Fett's. So in the old EU, there was like they branched out into lots of different cloning sources as the Jango Fett DNA sort of. Oh, did we lose Thor? Oh no. Okay.
Oh, he's still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I think it degraded, didn't it?
Yeah, the light turned off, and all I always saw was your glowy ears. Yeah. So like in the old EU, like they had diversified into other sources of clones and stuff like that. So like because the Jango Fett genetic material like degraded over time. So I'm kind of thinking that Omega might actually be just a. It's still Jango Fett's genetic material, but it's been like significantly altered, like it's bioengineered. And like Omega is basically like possibly a prototype of a new type of clone. Which it would be ironic considering she's named Omega, which is the last letter of the Greek alphabet.
Right.
We talked about that a little in a previous episode. But, I guess, like, it would be a logical irony, though, wouldn't it? I feel like it would be. If she's supposed to be, like, the first in a new line of clones. I don't know, because, like,
the last.
maybe this is weird and superficial of me, but, like, why the fuck, if she wasn't Jango Fett, right? If she wasn't a Jango Fett clone, or at least a Jango Fett clone derivative, let's say. Why would she have a Kiwi accent?
This is also true. Yeah, so
Environment.
You think
being
all,
around clones.
You think all
I've heard
Kaminoans
that
just
one.
you think all Kaminoans just raise their clones to have Kiwi accents?
I don't know, but
No, but I guess if
accents
she's
are
around
environmental because you can pick up accents when you move to other countries.
right, and if she's
That's
around
true.
the regs a good bit, I mean, she could pick it up from all of like the regular Jango Fett clones that are around.
Well, didn't I don't remember the Kaminoan scientist, didn't she like shelter Omega? Like she kept her away from all the other clones, and that's why Omega was so like curious to go out and like meet with all the other clones and like.
I that is stated, but I got the idea that they were just trying to and they couldn't, because that's how the first episode played out. She was constantly getting away. I get the feeling that that was already happening.
Okay. That makes sense.
It would also be natural because you would look at the Kaminoans and be like, well, they're not like me. There's something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would just, and then the minute you got a glimpse of a clone, you'd be like, ah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's still very nebulous as to what she was supposed to be. It really is. I think obviously she's important somehow. She's not just a botched clone, because they wouldn't send Fennec Shand after her if she was just a fucking random like botched clone or something. You know. So like
Yeah, 100%. She's got
the
a
Kaminoans
serious
want her
power.
back. The Kaminoans want her back for some reason.
Yeah, the why is the big question.
Yeah, and now that they got rid of their inhibitor chips, now the Empire knows they're there. Yeah, at the end of episode 7.
The thing is, if it was a clone prototype that would have been for the Republic, wouldn't they just execute her? No retrieval.
Well, the Empire might. Remember, the Kaminoans hired
Oh,
Fennec Shand
no,
to bring
but
her back.
That's a good point. It is the Kaminoans specifically.
Yeah.
But then why would the Kaminoans... Oh, no, the Kaminoans always care about their own property. No, that's a
Well,
good point.
because remember, there's Crosshair and his like Imperial Death Squad,
right.
which now know the location of the Bad Batch because of that worker who tipped them off. But then there's also Fennec Shand, who is hired by the Kaminoans to bring Omega back to Kamino safely, presumably.
Well, yeah, I mean, they wouldn't want a dead body.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is like they don't want to execute her. They want her back alive.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking like I sort of forgot that the Kaminoans specifically ordered.
Right, separate. They're separate from the
return.
Empire. Yeah.
Yeah, and considering how entangled the Empire is now with them, I sort of figured, I don't know.
Yeah, because
I-
even when they get away in the first episode, the Kaminoans are like, well, it's probably best the Empire doesn't know about her anyway.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah, which kind of lends credence to the whole clone revolt theory. Which could be cool. I mean, it would definitely explain why the Empire doesn't use clones at all anymore by the time of A New Hope.
Could very well be.
You know, at least in the Disney canon, again, which this is. So,
Yeah, because wasn't that in like one of the Battlefront
Yeah.
campaigns where there was a clone revolt, like the Kaminoans
Yeah.
just took out their own batch of clones to fight the ones that were loyal to the Empire?
right, yeah. Except that time it was like straight up clones versus clones because the Empire never just randomly stopped using clones like they seem to be doing in this. So it was like, yeah, it was literally like, because it was like, it added a cool contrast because it was like brothers killing brothers, you know. The whole Civil War conundrum. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable theory. The whole clone revolt thing. we'll have to see if that's where they want to take it. I don't know if they're gonna get that grand of scale. They might just want to keep it like localized to the Bad Batch and Omega. I feel like we're gonna go back to Kamino at some point to figure out what the fuck Omega is and what the fuck her purpose is, or her purpose was.
Almost a guarantee, isn't it?
But I don't know if we're gonna see like some big grand scale, like Clone Revolt. I don't know if they want to go that, like, big.
I don't think we will, to be honest. I mean,
I don't think this season we'll see it.
No. Yeah,
how do you think how do you think the revolt would take place? Are you just thinking like off-world, or are you thinking as along the lines of, I don't know how the mission in Battlefront is actually like meant to occur, but
well, the mission in Battlefront was, I mean, it was pretty simple. It was basically just saying like the Kaminoans revolted against the Empire and bred the next generation of clones after the clones from the Clone Wars.
I remember now.
That's like, I guess it would be the fourth generation of clones, because I think there were 3. There was basically like 1 per year of the Clone Wars. A new generation of clones would come out, something like that. But it would be like Generation 4, Generation 5 of clones. But it was the first generation after the Empire was proclaimed, and the Kaminoans used that generation to essentially retake parts of Kamino from the Empire, and then the Empire sent in the 501st to wipe out those clones. And that was the Battlefront mission, is you going in as the 501st and wiping out clones. And it was a cool way of having the player as the Empire play against the Republic. You know, because you don't usually get those kinds of showdowns.
Have to wait and see. I mean, that's actually, it could happen. Yeah, I mean,
it's feasible. I don't know if that's the way they want to go, just narratively. I think they probably, at least in season 1, they probably want to focus on the characters more, rather than like the big like grand scale, you know, politics and stuff behind it. I would be okay with it either way. I would prefer we stay with the characters, at least for now. And yeah, just cool it with the cameos, Dave. Please. we don't need the fucking like third Gungan from the left that speared General Grievous showing up in episode 8 being, oh, Misa helped the Bad Batch, you know, like, we just don't.
They need a Bombad general.
They're like,
just imagine Crosshair tracks them down with like the Clone Death Squad, and you know they need some Bombad tactics to win.
Crosshair, use the booba. Now, what if it's like, yeah, what if they're like the lady who, the Trandoshan lady who keeps giving them missions. She's like, all right, you're gonna track down this great warrior who I'm told defeated General Grievous in battle. And then they go and find him, and it's fucking Captain Tarpals. Like, oh wait, no, Captain Tarpals died, didn't he? Didn't General Grievous kill him?
Gone but never forgotten.
He was the Bombad general. It's just Jar Jar. Like, they just go and find Jar Jar, and then we get another fucking Jar Jar episode. He's on that planet with like the fucking snail people that he boned or whatever, or whose queen they boned. That episode was so stupid.
Then Maul shows up and reveals that he is actually Darth Plagueis the Wise.
No.
Yeah, that would be awful.
And then
I am all Sith.
And then Ashoka shows up and fights him again. Oh no. I mean, we joke about it, but I actually really do like the Bad Batch. Again, it's probably it's got the best first season out of any of the animated shows, and then I'd say it's only beaten by The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair.
My opinion. But yeah,
I don't know how long it's going to keep it up though. That is for sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see how the story goes, how the characters develop. I What's some other stuff about episode 7? There was something that I wanted to bring up that I forgot about. I don't think it had anything to do with Rex. Yeah, shit. My short-term memory loss is getting the better of me again. Oh well, I might think of it. I might think of it later. But yeah, I don't know. I guess overall impressions of episode 7. I mean, I liked it a lot. I thought it was the best.
It was one of my favorite episodes since the first, and I think it sets us up pretty well for the second half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely felt like a big milestone. It's like the quarter season or third way through the season milestone, for sure. I did remember what I wanted to ask about. You know how they went to like the ship graveyard, right? The old Clone Wars ship graveyard.
Oh yeah.
Part of me thought, part of me was like, you know, it'd be cool if they ran into Cal working at the ship graveyard at the beginning of Fallen Order.
Who? Sorry.
Did you play Jedi Fallen Order?
I haven't played it yet.
Okay, so
I do have it. Somebody bought it for me, but it's tied to my Origin account as if I was in America, so I have to piss about using a VPN, and I really can't be bothered.
That's funny. And now on to our sponsor, NordVPN. Just kidding. I can't say that. I'm not being sponsored by NordVPN. But that would have been a really ornate ad though. Oh, got an American copy of a game and you live in Europe? Well, golly gee, do I have the thing for you.
You need to reach out to NordVPN, show them this little clip, and be like, "Yeah, we'll make it happen."
And then they'd sue me for saying I was sponsored by them when I'm not.
No, you just cut that clip out. It's fine.
They're like, "What was that little blip there?" Oh,
Plus you
don't worry about that.
Plus, you instantly retracted, and it's obviously a joke about that overabundance of adverts on YouTube.
Fair enough.
Don't worry, I got your back in court.
But anyway, so the protagonist of Jedi Fallen Order, Cal, he starts off working at like a starship graveyard, like a Clone Wars starship graveyard. Just like the graveyard they go to in episode 7 of Bad Batch, you know, where they're like, you see a bunch of old like just scrapped for parts like Republic and CIS ships, and you know, it's like the whole first level is just like you learning how to like parkour and stuff on all the like, you know, destroyed, wrecked Clone Wars ships and stuff. Because I think Fallen Order is only like 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. It's not very long after. But yeah, Cal, after surviving Order 66, obviously goes and like gets a job randomly at this junkyard where he works, and listens to Mongolian throat singing on his cool little space headphones. Hang on, let me get a message the girlfriend real quick.
I sort of wasn't expecting a starship graveyard for them to be removing the chip in. It was like,
yeah,
that's the obvious go-to.
Also the med bay that
I was
works
sort
perfectly.
of expecting or hoping for something else. And yeah, it just happens to work and all that. I feel like we're starting to have seen starship graveyards too much. I do like seeing them. I love seeing wrecks and ruins and stuff like that. But instantly, the minute I saw it, I was like, could have been something else.
I just think it'd be that would have like.
I suppose there's not enough time for Rex to have had enough contacts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was still okay with it, but I guess I was just hoping for something else. Maybe, I don't know.
I also it's funny because we just spent the last 30 minutes bitching about cameos, and I'm like, you know, it'd have been cool if Cal had a cameo. But I don't know. I kind of
been somebody from Clone Wars.
I kind of expected to see it because I was waiting for cameos. That's the thing. I guess that's the point I wanted to make, is like I was just waiting to see the next cameo, and they go to a starship graveyard, which is where you start Jedi Fallen Order. And I don't know what you're looking at on your computer right now, Thor, but you look disgusted.
Oh, I'm just doing some work on the Disgusting. I don't know why I look disgusted.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's just like
scrunching my face up. I'm working on the levels. I'm
Sorry, I
messing around with some of the dialogues.
It looked like you just looked at like some picture or something. You're just like, ugh. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like it was a reasonable assumption to make, but I don't know. At the same, a lot of people seem to want Cal to cameo and things, which like I kind of have my own theories that he's probably going to be the Cam Solasar of. That's a deep baked lore name. If anyone, one of you recognizes that.
Cam Salusar, wasn't he like Battle Master of the new Jedi Order at one point or some shit?
He was the first Jedi that Luke recruited into his Jedi Order.
That's what I thought. Okay.
He basically spent a whole chapter of Dark Empire, just him and Cam like searching through Jedi ruins and stuff, trying to find like old texts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because don't they go to like Ossus?
Yeah, they go to Ossus, and that's where the Great Sith War lore was established and stuff like that. Yeah, in Dark Empire. It's crazy to think about that. Actually, how old a lot of those lore references actually are. Bless you, bless you.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Because yeah, they go to Ossus, and then the Ossus natives there, like their children end up leaving with Luke and Cam to become like the first like Jedi students, and that's like you see the starting, you see the origins of the new Jedi Order.
I mean, yeah, the Jedi are abducting kids again. All's right in the world. Good story.
Oh well, these are like young adults. This was far before they established the Jedi from birth. Yeah, yeah, that was a George Lucas thing, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty on that place in lore. I can remember vaguely reading it at one point in time because like Ossus and Cam Salusar all sounds familiar.
Yeah, I want to say it was a Phantom Menace. I want to say it was a Phantom Menace thing where George decided that they take them as children.
Yeah, that's pretty much where that like big shift in the paradigm of Jedi, I would say, started.
Because Yoda said Luke was too old in Empire Strikes Back, but Luke was already like 22 at that point. So like, it could have just been that like you have to start training at age like 15 or something. You know, you have to start like when you're young, but not when you're a fucking baby. You know. But yeah, so I kind of have the idea that like Cal will be one of those like founding Jedi members, or he could just fucking die, because there's still 15 years to go in between Fallen Order and New Hope, the end of Fallen Order and New Hope. So yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, I guess my overall impressions of episode 7. Great episode. Liked it. I guess we did talk about oh, you know what else that I thought was funny now that I'm thinking about it? You know how I said last time that I didn't think Wrecker was actually going to turn on the group and he was going to fall into a coma? He did both. He turned on the group and then fell into a coma. Like, it's pretty funny. Like they stunned him, they pull his thing out, and then he's in a coma for like, I mean, I guess not in a coma. He was just unconscious. It's not really a coma if you're out for 12 hours or whatever. You're just kind of unconscious, I guess. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of a funny thing. But yeah, overall great episode. I did like how yeah, Wrecker didn't like go totally apeshit and just start killing them. He did the whole you have violated Order 66. You know, you are hereby accused of treason. You know, that kind of robotic program shit. That's pretty cool. I don't know. Any other I guess final thoughts on the Bad Batch thus far?
No, not really for me. Do we want to get into predictions for episode 8?
Oh, sure.
Because I have a pretty solid timeline left in mind where I think how this would work with the conflicting forces. So The Empire knows, right? And you could assume they're probably going to send Crosshair and his squad after him.
Oh yeah.
And then the most important thing is when they're going to meet up. I almost happen to feel like they're going to like immediately meet them at that ship graveyard, and it's going to be some deal to where we need to try to now get Crosshair unconscious, separate him, and try to do the surgery another time to see if they can remove his chip, or find out whether like the chip's done too much damage to his mind and it's like a too far gone scenario. But I just kind of feel like that's where logically I think that would go.
Yeah.
By the way, a coma is considered to be when you cannot be woken up for I think it's greater than 6 hours.
Oh,
interesting.
And it also can, like, I think that's how you would define it.
You can't use.
You mentioned comatose and if he was or not, and it interested me, so I thought I'd go and check.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah, so I guess that could have been a coma. It doesn't really say how long he was out for. It kind of just does like a fade out and fade back in when he wakes up, you know.
Yeah.
And like Omega fell asleep in that time, you know, because cute. never leave his side. But yeah. I think that's a pretty solid prediction. Not, you know, it makes like predictions that aren't just like, oh yeah, the Empire's gonna find out, now they're gonna come for them. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a coma. Another definition for it is it's a state of unconsciousness where a person is unresponsive and cannot be woken. For example, if you were to like poke him, he'd still be like, and there'd be responses.
Well, there's
I think anyway, but there was a fade out, so we don't know for sure.
Well, there are medical ways to revive somebody who is very knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there are techniques to do that. I know a couple because of it's good to know like if you drink with people who drink a lot and stuff like that, because a good way to tell if someone has alcohol poisoning is to pinch their tricep really hard. I would not recommend doing it on yourself.
I didn't know that one.
I would not recommend doing it on yourself. It is very painful. It's just a really sharp pain. And for most people, if they're not expecting it, it's a really big jolt. Yeah, no, just pinch the tricep like right here.
What's generally better is not to drink too much.
Right, but you know.
Yeah, it's good to it's definitely good to know something.
But yeah, that's just one like kind of just jury rig technique to wake someone up. Yeah. So like if you do that to them and they don't wake up, then they most likely have alcohol poisoning and aren't just passed out. You should probably take them to the hospital, basically.
Because otherwise they'd respond to the stimuli.
Right. Yeah. And there's other ways to do it too. I mean, there's the whole like shining a light in their eye and see if their pupil dilates too. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I very, very reasonable prediction, I would say. I'd definitely be interested to see them like capture Crosshair, because we talked about before like who dies first, right? If one of them dies, who dies first? And I said Crosshair. And I think it's because of that. I think it would
interesting you bring that up, because the other thing I think that might happen is the surgery might not work, because there's always, every time it's done, somebody saying, well, we don't know if this is going to work. It's not 100%. But
right.
Yet, between fives and all the ones that we've seen after, they're 6 for 6 on success rate here. So I imagine the surgery could fail on somebody. Maybe it like kills Crosshair. I don't know. That'd be kind of bleak. But
I was going to say, that'd be a pretty lame way for him to go out. But I don't know if they do that just for a narrative.
You're right though, because otherwise it's 100% success rate.
Yeah.
But then again,
it might just be lazy writing though. That might just be lazy writing.
couldn't the fact that they're predicting the success rate be based more on the fact that they're not skilled with this and they don't really know? The robot was probably also programmed not to be doing
it's an
this
automated
sort of stuff.
surgery.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think it's
true,
that.
but
I think
wonder if they could have put something into it that made it.
I don't think it's the success rate that they're measuring. I think it's the uncertainty because it's only been done like a couple times, right? It could be completely safe. We just don't know because we don't have a big enough sample base. You know what I mean? It's been done on what fives, Rex, and now the Bad Batch, and that's all we know of, right?
Yeah. I mean, really, honestly, Tech's comments about the sterility of the environment they did the surgery probably would bring more danger than the surgery of itself. Like, if you actually did brain surgery somewhere that fucking dirty.
Mm-hmm.
That is mostly done by lasers, so I suppose they might be right.
I mean, that could just be like dust in the air. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Well, maybe you can hope that like that little thing like has like a, I don't know, a field to just repel stuff and put.
Oh, it's got like a Star Trek.
I don't know.
It's got like a in Star Trek they have like force in the doctors they have like force fields on the hospital beds that like restrain the patient and like just hold him still, and it also keeps out like all pathogens and stuff. That's why the doctors don't have to wear masks in Star Trek, is because anything that they exhale is just going to be repelled by the force field.
Interesting.
And they use like special tools and stuff that can go through the force field. But yeah. Okay. Any other predictions from either of you, I guess?
I sort of don't think. I mean, I don't think any of the main four are going to die. To be honest.
I don't either. I don't see that happening. Yeah.
Because it's called the Bad Batch. This is what we've recognised as the Bad Batch. Crosshair's obviously separate, like, and that's that.
Yeah, that's the real question. Are they going to get Crosshair back, or is he going to die?
I don't think so. He was quite prominently not with them from the beginning. I mean, that doesn't specifically say that they won't get him back, but I just don't think. Yeah. For writing's sake, because he's like one of their, like he's after them. I don't know. We'll see.
He was. I will say he's probably the one I liked the least from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just because he's kind of just a Clint Eastwood ripoff, like blatantly. Like, why would he have gray hair? You know, like, why would he have gray hair? Why does he fucking, like... Yeah, like, some of the stuff makes sense.
Why do the Kaminoans stock toothpicks?
He probably just...
Hey, where's he getting toothpicks? And
they probably had toothpicks.
Far away with this kind of tech.
They had toothpicks in the refreshers. Probably. Is it bad that I know?
I will give Rebels credit for actually showing what a refresher looks like on screen in that one episode where Wedge is taking a piss or whatever. Like, that's the only time I can remember bathrooms actually being shown in Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, there's a refresher in KOTOR 2 in the dorms on Paragus in KOTOR 2. Turn that damn data pad off and throw it down the refresher.
I always just sort of thought that the toilet...
The refresher in KOTOR 2, though, looks more like a sink. Like, how are you going to piss and shit in that thing?
For example, in the Ebon Hawk,
I kind of just thought the refresher was just, like, a generic term for, like, a bathroom, like, stuff in a bathroom. So it could be a sink, could be a toilet.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be
I
whatever.
reckon, like, imagine the Ebon Hawk. I reckon the toilet's in the medical bay and it flips out of the wall. If you've ever seen Red Dwarf, do you know when he says crap and the toilet comes out of the wall? Have you ever seen Red Dwarf?
No, but that's funny. That's kind of funny.
Oh my god! I suppose you wouldn't have because you're Americans. It's a British sci-fi comedy, and it is the best. You do not understand it.
Okay. Maybe I'll have to look it up. I do like British humor.
Do. Seriously, check it out. They tried to make an American series of it, and it was awful.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens when we try to adapt British comedy.
It works. It works once in a while, but most of the time it doesn't. American Top Gear.
Or it ends up being something completely different, like The Office UK and The Office US,
or Top Gear. Have you seen US? Have you seen the American Top Gear? It's so different. It's so different. It's just kind of a generic car show, whereas like UK Top Gear, I watched because it was funny, not because I gave a shit about cars.
You know, it doesn't have main people in it now.
Yeah, like Jeremy Clarkson and all them. Yeah, I know. Didn't they all like quit together because the studio was fucking them over or something?
And make their own show with Amazon.
Yeah. That's where the cheese meme is. where what's his name? The guy with the long hair. He takes the thing and he goes, cheese. Is that what that's from? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's I guess we'll move on from the Bad Batch now. I don't know. Let me try. Basically, the only real predictions I can think of without just going nuts, right? Because I mean, you could do all kinds of crazy, wonky predictions, and they're gonna be all over Star Wars YouTube. Oh my God, Mace Windu confirmed for Bad Batch episode 17. There's only 16. There's only 16 episodes. It's weird that I picked 17 as my random number.
If you've got time,
Some shit they would do there. They would fucking literally say, "Oh, episode 17, Mace Windu confirmed."
Right.
watch
yeah.
watch this 7-second clip from Red Dwarf. I dropped it in the Discord.
On the Discord? Okay, 1 second.
It's a 7-second clip on YouTube, and it's what I was talking about.
I'm gonna show it on my stream real quick.
Not you! Oh, crap. Not you!
I do apologize, I wasn't paying attention. See you later.
Now irradiate your hands.
It's such an amazing sci-fi. It's
Well, it's pretty neat.
It's rare to have a sci-fi comedy as well.
Yeah. The only sci-fi comedy I can think of that I really watched as a kid was Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, I like Mystery
really-
Science Theater.
I've never heard of that, and to be honest, I only know of two sci-fi comedies, and one is a recent rip-off of Red Dwarf.
Mystery Science Theater is it's really goofy, but it's like a guy with a bunch of robots. Like, guy gets launched into space with a bunch of robots and by like his coworkers who are like mad scientists, and his coworkers they torture him by sending him crappy movies to watch, and he watches the movies with his robot friends. And it's like the you might have seen this. It's a really famous like model of a skit, but like basically it shows the whole movie. It shows the whole like really crappy movies. Usually they're kind of old, like
They're like B movies that
Yeah,
are in the
like
public domain.
old like 70s B movies, yeah. And it's got the silhouette of him sitting with his robot friends, and it's basically just them watching the movie and making fun of it while you watch the movie, and it's hilarious. It's great. And it's like it's really dorky and kiddie looking, but it's actually like really adult.
Yeah.
Is it a cartoon?
No,
No.
it's live action.
Oh, this it sounds pretty funny, man.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty great. That's the first time I ever watched Santa Claus Conquers the Martians was a Mystery Science Theater. If you've never seen Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Okay, well let's move on to some questions.
Moist Cheeto juice. The MST3K Kickstarter is 10 out of 10. Well, I don't want to get into Joel and how he needs like $6.5 million to make like 10 more episodes, only 3 of which he's going to appear in. But yeah, that's for a separate discussion.
Yeah, I haven't even looked in. I'm assuming that's the new one.
Yep, so Joel's got a Kickstarter going on, but like the goal's like almost $7 million, and you only get like, he's only going to do like 2 or 3 episodes at a time with each part of the goals that's met. But out of like the 10 that are available through the goal, you have to get like all of the 6.5 to get the 3 episodes that he's going to do. The rest is just going to be like the crew that did like the rebooted Netflix one.
Yeah, it's got like Patton Oswalt on it.
I don't know what you're talking about. What was the show?
Mystery Science Theater. It's
You
the
can just type in like MST3K if you're looking it up. And
they made like a newer reboot, which I haven't seen it. I've only watched the original. I have them on DVD. I have like a 1 or 2 seasons of the original Mystery Science Theater on DVD. It's pretty great. Tom Servo. That's the only robot I remember. There's Tom Servo. There was
Got Crow.
Crow. Tom Servo's the one with the gumball machine, right? He's the gumball machine, and then Crow is the vacuum cleaner guy, right? Oh yeah,
Crow might be the good gold one that looks kind of like a bird.
Oh yeah, the vacuum cleaner is that's the one that has like it's like Bessie or something.
Yeah.
He sounds like he sounds like a. Oh, she sounds like this. But yeah. Okay, so Moist Cheeto Juice asks, how do you feel about Boba Fett choking out Darth Vader?
Yeah, this question just relates to one specific fan film. I'm going to see if I can even find it. I think it's like called Wrath of the Mandalorian or something.
It would be an amazing porno. Next question. Just kidding.
I'll just go ahead and link it, and if you guys want to browse it for yourself, I think if you skip to about like 3/4 of the way, at about the 7.5 minute mark is when he fights Darth Vader. And
I was gonna say, is it long?
It's like 15 minutes.
Do me a favor, if you're gonna post it,
minutes.
if you're gonna post the link, post it in my Twitch chat and not in Discord, because it's a lot easier for me to open.
I got your chat up here somewhere.
Oh my god, what is this, like quadruple widescreen? What the fuck?
Right, that's what I noticed. They wanted that realistic movie quality.
So you said the 7-minute mark?
About 7.5.
If that is your wish,
You're not worth it.
idle threats of the domain of the weak bounty hunter. I thought more highly of
I'm watching it on my
Is
own
this
now,
what
and
you want later?
there's
Want me
one
to
scene
fight
that
you?
makes me just
what I
fucking
want
chuckle.
is a ruthless and powerful ally, not a vindictive child driven
And
by
you'll
emotion.
know when you see it.
What?
Do I need to watch the whole
General
fight scene?
Fett died because he was not worthy
I mean,
of the man
you just need to
he
get
was
to the
with.
part where Boba Fett chokes him out, but I just like when he shoots at the royal guards and they like deflect the blaster bolts with their pikes, like that's
My
even
head
possible.
still attached to my body.
Whoa! Yeah, they just did
And-
that.
And at the 9-minute mark is when Boba Fett pulls out a lightsaber and it just gets like completely into fucking left field ridiculous territory.
Man, those Indiana Jones punch sounds. Oh, Wilhelm scream, yes! Hey, Cad Bane left that dent.
Right?
Oof. Now I want to pop my neck.
Now let me show you the true power of a Mandalorian.
By using a weapon that Mandalorians
Okay, yeah, so the
despise.
chokeout's about 9.5 minutes, and I know why Moist asked about it now because it's just
Let
nonsensical.
me be the judge of that.
Why does Boba Fett have a lightsaber?
Is not your weapon of trade.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I use any means necessary to get the job done.
It's
Man, did
from
he
one
just-
of the comics, so
just
it's
cartwheel.
100% canon. What's your source on that, Moist?
How do you use garrote wire on Darth Vader? What the fuck?
How is he choking him? Like, that suit's hermetically sealed. How's he just gonna get through?
No.
Okay, I've seen enough. That's pretty funny.
So I figured I'd give you a little context on that since he asked, but
Yeah,
it's pretty
okay.
ridiculous. I don't think that would play out that way in canon.
Not even close. Boba, you don't know how to use a lightsaber?
He uses any weapon he needs.
God. Yeah, that just sounds like a bunch of like that. that reminded, a lot of fan films are like this, but that reminded me of just like when I was a little kid playing with like my Star Wars action figures and stuff, and I would give everyone a lightsaber and have them like meow, 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 meow. Yeah, that choking scene made no fucking sense. What the fuck? Garrote wire on Darth Vader's. I'm pretty sure his armor was made out of frick, which yes, frick.
Frick, the Dark Forces metal.
PHRIK. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was either frick or it might actually be Beskar. Funnily enough, I know it was blaster repellent. But not lightsaber repellent, obviously. But yeah, like lightsaber repellent armor, right? Countered by garrote wire. Okay. That's that was pretty. It was funny. I'll give it that.
Right. And it gave us a nice React clip, at least.
It did, yeah. Okay. Next question. So yeah, next time we'll do this on a Google Doc so we can like take turns reading it, but I'm just gonna read it all this time. 666% Beer asks, is it true that a few Star Destroyers could destroy a planet?
That one would all depend on what they're equipped with.
I think it's meant to be, but that's right. It would depend on what they're equipped with.
Without knowing the specifics of a Star Destroyer offhand, I do know that they had they basically standardly had downward facing cannons that were meant to level cities. As far as an entire planet, unless we're talking about the stupid plot device Star Destroyers in Rise of Skywalker, then
right.
I don't think they could destroy a planet.
Are we talking destroy the planet or level the planet?
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they could destroy the planet, but they could probably level the surface. It would take a while.
I'm thinking more of like a Terrace KOTOR 1 situation where like all the cities are completely leveled, but the planet does remain habitable.
You'd have a Star Destroyer basically in orbit over every major city, and then just bombard the absolute shit out of it with turbo lasers for weeks, or maybe not weeks, but days. And it would be a similar effect to destroying a planet. I don't know. Wikipedia might have some specs on Star Destroyer firepower. It's an Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer, and there are Imperial 1 class and Imperial 2 class Star Destroyers, fun fact. I think the 2s were just bigger and had more guns. It's usually what, Apparently the Imperial 1 is also known as the Imperator class Star Destroyer. Armament. Time and back XX9 heavy turbo laser batteries, 60, 24, 20 port, 20 starboard. Borsal NK ion, 60 Borsal NK7 ion cannons. 24, 15 port, 15 starboard, 50 aft. Dual heavy turbo laser turrets, dual heavy ion cannon turrets, quad heavy turbo lasers, triple medium turbo lasers, medium turbo lasers, red turbo lasers, blue turbo lasers, 1 turbo lasers, 2 turbo lasers. Point defense laser cannons, heavy Phylon Q7 tractor beam projectors. They're called tractor beam projectors. It's like you're shining a movie projector on something and it pulls them in. So basically, I mean, that's like, it's got something like 200 cannons, like heavy turbo lasers, like heavy cannons on it, either turbo lasers or ion cannons. That could probably level a city.
Right.
Because heavy turbo lasers are, we're not talking like ship mount, like the cannons on X-Wings. Heavy turbo lasers are like the fucking giant towers on the Death Star that, literally have gun barrels the size of X-Wings,
Yeah, and I guess even if you had 3, which would total up to about 600 cannons, I still don't think that would be enough to, like, destroy an entire planet. It would certainly expedite leveling cities.
Yeah, unless it had some bullshit MacGuffin Death Star laser on the bottom of it. like the movie that shall not be named that we named 10 minutes ago, but yeah, then it wouldn't have it wouldn't like break the planet. Like it wouldn't be enough to crack the planet. You could probably start a nuclear winter, and you could certainly destroy most of the cities. I mean, there's I know in the KOTOR comics, the Mandalorians like tactically nuked the shit out of Serico and basically made it uninhabitable.
It would really depend on your definition of destroy, wouldn't it? I mean, you could destroy the atmosphere, which would essentially destroy the purpose or use of the planet. But if you're physically talking destroy the planet, maybe after 1,000 years of blasting it with turbo lasers.